do you ever just like watch a TV show and you sort of purposely putting off the last episode? Well, you watch most of it, but especially the last kind of half an hour-ish, you put off watching purely because you don't want a TV show to end. Like, I put it off for a whole week because so this is the problem with Netflix, is that it all comes out at once. You sit and binge it all and then it's over. You can't watch anymore. So yes, we are going to review, as the title, wherever it is now, because I've not been on YouTube for like 10 months, 11 months, I don't know. So I've got no idea what it is. But yes, we're going to talk about The Queen's Gambit because, oh my god, it might be the best thing I've watched all year. I'm sort of sat here in my Blackpink casual clothes because it's a Sunday, it's my day off at work, and I finally sat down and thought, oh, might as well finish it. And yes, it, like I say, probably one of the best things I've watched all year. Potentially, might be. Oh, I just couldn't get enough of it. I wanted it to go on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Just because it was so great. This is like the most incoherent review ever. That's also not how you say the word incoherent. But yes, so today we're talking about The Queen's Gambit, the new Netflix show that came out I think about a month or two ago. So yeah, we're going to talk about The Queen's Gambit, which is the Netflix show about Beth Harmon, who is an orphan at the beginning, and then she develops a love of chess when she's 9, I think, 9, and we see her progress from playing in the basement to working her way up through the chess ranks and, you know, becoming a professional chess player, and then, you know, the trials and tribulations that come along with that, as well as it being about chess. It's also about somebody that has a really, really bad addiction to pills, medication, alcohol, lots of different things. So obviously that, coupled with her playing chess, makes her quite an interesting character to follow. And it was a 7 episode limited series on Netflix, so it's a case of once it's over, it's over. Whereas, you know, other things that come out, you know, oh, we might get another season, we might not get another season. But with the limited series, we're definitely not getting another season. Which I think is why I put off finishing it for so long. Because, you know, with those, you know, that's it, that's the contained story. Which I think is an appeal to me. Because the problem with when I start a TV show is if I look and see it's got like, I don't know, 150 episodes or so, then I'll probably give up halfway through. Just because it's not even necessarily that the shows are bad, it's just that because there's so much to watch and so much to digest, sometimes it's just slightly overwhelming for me. So with this, well, I know that in 7 hours, and it's 7 hours and a bit's time, that's the whole story, then it's a lot easier for me to process, a lot easier for me to watch. So yes, the main character, Beth, obviously starts off young, and we sort of see, I think she's played by 2 or 3 different actresses in the show. I think one as a child, one as a teenager and one as an adult. All of the actresses that played her were really, really, really good. Obviously Anya Taylor-Joy plays the adult Beth, and she sort of gets the most screen time. But you kind of see, even sort of the child Beth, when she's only about 9 or 10, is still really, really good at what she does. Because like, you know, with child actors you always worry like, oh, what if they're not going to be as good, or what if they can't sort of portray the character as well, because Beth's quite a deep, complex, you know, even from a young age she has lots of issues. And they definitely don't skip around that, which is really good because you get to see sort of how her love of chess and her addictions start in the orphanage, and then how they sort of graduate and build and progress over time through all the different actresses, which is really good. Yeah, so she gets, I'm trying not to spoil it too much, spoiling the whole plot, because I think going into it blind and not knowing, you know, the outcome, how it actually ends, or sort of the plot points, I think is the best way to watch it. Because I think there are quite a few little surprises throughout, and she meets quite a lot of interesting characters, which I think if I went into full details about them would kind of I don't know, I guess kind of ruin watching their individual relationships develop if you know exactly what's going to happen. I also have to mention, as well as an amazing plot, full of surprises, twists, turns, you know, wins, losses. You know, I have to mention the music. The soundtrack for this TV show is, I to be honest, I think it makes part of the excitement for it, especially when they're sort of, you know, preparing for the chess matches and you see them kind of doing all their little practice runs, and even when you see the actual sort of championship matches, or you know, even the like the first few matches she has where, you know, there's nothing actually really at stake, she's just sort of learning the game of chess. It's still really exciting because I think the music just, it builds everything really. It builds the excitement of it. It builds, you know, when you know something, they've played a wrong move, you don't even necessarily have to be that invested in the game of chess, and you don't necessarily have to always know exactly what you don't necessarily have to be invested in the game of chess and know exactly what's going on the whole time. Like, I roughly know how to play chess, but I'm no pro player at chess. I can sort of barely win a game because I know what all the pieces do, but put it all into sort of a strategy and kind of plan like 5 moves ahead is just too much for me. But it's really exciting when you can kind of, I guess sort of over the course of the programme, you kind of know some of the moves, so they sort of explain at the beginning, and I guess this is not really a spoiler, they sort of explain at the beginning kind of like the pro moves and how they sort of open with certain pieces and close with certain pieces and move this to this, and then when you sort of see those kind of plays happen in the later episodes, it's all the more exciting because you think, oh, she learnt that from this place and she learnt that from this person. So like I say, you don't necessarily even have to fully know the whole rules of chess because they explain quite a lot of it, which I think is good for people that, you know, don't know. I think with the show it is quite important to put out sort of, not necessarily a trigger warning, because I think they say that at the beginning of this first episode, I'm not 100% sure, but there is sort of scenes of a lot of, you know, drug taking, drug addiction, alcohol intake, you know, a lot of alcohol addiction, so it can be quite a triggering show for some people, but I think they show it, they don't ever glamorise it in the TV show. You know, you sort of see the struggles and the tolls that it takes on Beth as a character. Like, you know, you'll see her kind of getting really drunk one night and then she has to be at a chess match the next day, and they don't ever, you know, get her to be like, woo, you know, because she got really drunk and then she'll, you know, go and succeed. They do show, you know, the bad sides of it at the same time. But yeah, I think it is important to sort of just put that as a little note in there that, you know, you do see a lot of that side of it. Because she's, like I say, she's quite a flawed main character in some ways. You obviously would cheer for her because you want her to win, you know, the chess tournaments, and you want her to overcome people, and, you know, she creates a lot of rivals in the show and a lot of relationships with people that you want to see, you know, play out in certain ways. But she's also she makes a lot of mistakes in the TV show that you as a viewer probably wouldn't agree with. Because, I mean, I guess obviously it's because we're not in that situation, we're not under the influence of, you know, the drugs and the alcohol that she's taking. But I think she does pay for her consequences though. I think it's quite grounded in that way, that if, you know, she does something that's, you know, we wouldn't agree with as viewers, she does actually see the repercussions of that a lot. It's not a case of sort of, she does something bad and she doesn't ever get anything for it. Yeah, 100% she does. It is really hard to talk about the show without spoiling it, because I don't really want to go too much into it. This is basically just a video of me telling you to watch it. Like, you know, watch the show because it's really, really good. I don't want to go fully in depth on the plot of it and all of the little points, just because I think it'll ruin it. I think I went into it pretty much completely blind. I'd heard it was good, so I thought like, oh, I'll chuck it on my Netflix, but I didn't realise how invested you would get in it and how I would get invested in it, because, you know, I guess to some people at the end of the day you're just watching people play chess, which kind of doesn't seem that exciting, but they shoot it in a way that, you know, you see like the people's reactions, and because she's on such a grand stage, you know, you see the audience getting excited and you see the commentators getting excited and other players' reactions and her reactions to certain, you know, they're only, like I say, at the end of the day they're only moving little pieces on a board, but because of what she's doing and because of how high a level she's competing, it all builds. You're there with the audience anticipating, their next move, and you're there, hoping that she's going to win, because, of course you want to. This is basically me just saying, go and watch The Queen's Gambit, because it's incredible. It's really, really, really good. All of the side characters as well, just like to throw this in there. She meets a lot of sort of other people that play chess around, because she's American. She meets a lot of people that play chess from around the world in different states and different countries. And they're all really good, actually. A lot of the times with side characters, sometimes they just kind of, funny enough, get pushed to the side, and you don't ever really, you don't ever really explore them as people. But I think especially in this show, she has all the different chess players, and there's a journalist that she becomes quite infatuated with. And you really actually do get to learn about them as people, and you see them as well as obviously, because it's set over quite a long period of time, her becoming a child to an adult. But you see them growing as well as her growing, which I think is quite interesting, because you see them mature, her mature, some of them not necessarily mature. So I think the side characters do actually add a lot to it, and I think the period of time, sort of seeing from child to adult, I think, it does give you the opportunity to see a lot of what sometimes they just gloss over. Sometimes you'd see her win a game and then it'd, not necessarily in this TV show, but in other shows, you might see her sort of win one game as a child and then it would montage to her being an adult. Whereas it doesn't do that in this show. We have a lot of time with her as a child, teenager and adult to really get the growth of her character, and we really get to see sort of her, like I say, her relationships with these people kind of come to fruition, or not come to fruition. But yeah, so basically that's just me doing a tiny little review, because I've not done a YouTube video in ages, so it's a bit throwing me off drawing. But yeah, I thought I'd come on here because I had to talk about The Queen's Gambit. It was so good. Definitely go and watch it. It's like one day's watching if you're not like me and don't put it off for a week. But yeah, it takes one day to sit and watch it all. It's definitely worth watching. I'm not 100% sure what to watch next. If anybody can actually recommend anything down below that's not too long, maybe sort of 1 or 2 seasons-ish, maybe sort of about like 30-40 episodes, just sort of sit and watch maybe over the course of a day or a week, or, I don't want something that's going to take me like, 2 months or something to finish. So yeah, if you've got any recommendations below, let me know, because I'm quite interested to watch another sort of drama TV show, because I think I really enjoy The Queen's Gambit. So something, not necessarily, if it doesn't even have to be similar, in genre, but something that's quite an easy, digestible watch. Everything's kind of wrapped up, and I'm not going to have to go looking on the internet for, clues and resolutions and what everything means. Something easy, basically, to watch. So yeah, that was my little review of The Queen's Gambit. Go and watch it, like I say. If I had to rate it, I think I've rated it on Letterboxd. If you want to read my Letterboxd review, it's in below. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, which is a 9, so, or maybe I gave it 5. 9 or 10, so go and watch it, it's great. I don't know when I'm going to be back with another video, hopefully soon. I think I don't want to put any pressure on myself to upload, like sort of whenever I feel like talking about something, I'll jump on here and talk about something. I'll probably do a reaction at the end of the year to my New Year's resolutions, because I can imagine a lot of them haven't been stuck to, we've been in the pandemic for Christ's sake. But yeah, it was lovely to make another little video again, and I will see you next time. Bye!